Hello again, people. Welcome to my channel. My name's Mark David. I'm a cartoonist and I'm here to teach you how to draw cartoons. In this case, I'm going to be talking about mistakes that cartoonists make, the three most common mistakes that I see new cartoonists making. Strange but true. Who'd have guessed it? Even cartoonists can make mistakes sometimes. Well, we all do, don't we? That's the truth of it. And I'm going to be talking to you about the three most common ones and how to avoid them or what to do when you encounter one. So I'm going to start here with perhaps the most common one. And this one, captions are too long. This is a real, I've been guilty of this one very often. I'm writing a caption which goes on and on and on and on. People tend not to want to read long captions. So I figured the perfect length of a caption is about 6 words, up to 6 words. After that, people will start dropping off. Every word that you add after 6 words, you're going to lose some of your readers. And I wish I could say that none of my cartoons had more than 6 words in their captions, but the truth is, a lot of them do. It's a difficult rule not to break. You might have a complex idea or something that needs to be expressed a certain way, and maybe 6 words isn't enough, so you go over that rule. So that's a problem. So I'll give you an example. A cartoon here, I haven't really written a caption, but I've given a visual representation about what a long caption looks like, and no one's going to want to read that cartoon. There's too many words in it, or rather, too many blahs in it. Blah, 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 blah. You're going to lose readers. It's too much. If you have to say that much there, that's okay. You can still save the day. This one option is to do it in 2 panels. You see the last panel? I've got this exact the same number of words, or actually the same number of blahs in it. But by breaking up over 2 panels, notice the last one has 6 words in it. People look at that and it looks more inviting to read than the first one. See, that looks kind of intimidating. This one looks more friendly. Same number of words, and people are rewarded with more illustration to look at as well. So that's a good way to get around having a long caption. Break it up into two bits. If you can't break up the thing into 2 sentences, like you might have that last 6 words being part of a sentence, you can't break up a sentence, just draw a little dot, dot, dot. See what I've done there? A little dot, dot, dot around at the end, which means that I'm continuing on. If you do that, you can get away with having a sentence being broken up into 2 so that you can shorten that last word balloon caption. So that's a little trick which I'm passing on to my wonderful viewers who hopefully have liked, commented and subscribed. That's right, subscribe. The more the better. It's going to help my channel a real lot. It's a brand new channel. At the time of recording this video, I haven't even started up my YouTube channel yet, so I can technically say I have no subscribers at all at this stage, which means that any subscribers is going to make, well, let's just say it's going to be a massive difference. So I hope that you consider that. So there we go. So that's one option here. So what else have we got here? Word balloon mistakes. I see this a lot when I visit schools teaching cartooning. I see people showing me their cartoons, and it's a really common mistake. They might start with a person saying something, and they draw a little word balloon, and then they start writing the words in, and this is what happens. It doesn't fit. They didn't think it out ahead of time. You don't have to think it out ahead of time. You just got to do it in a different order. So let's start at the beginning. Here's a little man, and he's going to say something. Write the words first, and then draw the word balloon around it. Draw the word balloon last. That way you know it's going to fit, because it just will, because you know what the words, you know how much space the word's going to take. So that's a really good thing you might want to practice. If you can do that, your captions will always fit inside the word balloon, because there's nothing worse than that first version, which looked like, oh, what did it look like? It looked like Just going to go back in a few steps. Yeah, nothing nice about that. Doesn't look very elegant at all. So write the words first, then draw your caption word balloon around it, and it will look better. Little trick. So remember that one. If you're drawing caption, a word balloon, the word balloon should be the last thing you draw. That way it's always going to fit in the space that you've got. The caption will fit inside the word balloon space and it will look better. Okay, now there's one other thing which I'm going to mention now, which is a really common one, and this applies to the professionals, it applies to me, it applies to everyone who draws cartoons, and that's this one. Does your cartoon make sense? Now, I struggle sometimes to make my cartoons as clear as they can. Your cartoons should be really crystal clear in their meaning, otherwise they won't make sense. If you've got just a small amount of doubt that your cartoon makes sense, and I guarantee there's going to be a huge number of people who won't understand your cartoon. And that's not good. We want people to understand your cartoons. Most people will realize that cartoons work better if people understand them. And so what do you do if you've got that little niggling doubt? Doesn't my cartoon make sense? Well, just go up to a friend and say, look, I don't know if this cartoon is working or not. Does it make sense to you? That's all you got to do. And the most helpful thing they could do if the cartoon doesn't make sense is to tell you so. That you don't want them to say, oh, yeah, it's a great cartoon. Well, can you explain? No, I can't explain. Oh, it's just a great cartoon. That's not going to help, is it? If the cartoon doesn't make sense, you want to find out it doesn't make sense, so you have a chance to correct it. It might be going through and revising your caption or revising the drawing or whatever it takes to make the drawing more clear. So that's a really a big one. And so that of course was the third common mistake that cartoonists make, and that's one that the professionals make all the time. When I worked in the art department at a big newspaper in Sydney in Australia, we often used to go up to each other and say, hey, does this make sense? And we used to tell quite directly if it made sense or not. I'll tell you one story. And when I was living in Sydney in Australia, I was looking to buy an apartment. And I went into a place, it was open for inspection, and I walked around the house, walked into the kitchen, and there was a cartoon stuck to the fridge. So, of course, being a cartoonist, I thought I want to check this thing out. It was one of my own cartoons that I'd drawn and it was from that paper that I worked for. I thought, well, this is pretty cool. I thought, oh, I like this guy's work, and like his cartoon. So I looked at the cartoon, I had a good read of it, and it was my cartoon, but I didn't get the joke. I couldn't understand it. So thankfully, the person who owned that apartment understood the joke well enough to fit it to the fridge. So that's always a big compliment, to make it to the fridge. But even the person himself who drew the cartoon doesn't understand the cartoon, it's not a good sign. It's not a good mark of cartooning. So it's really quite possible that your cartoons don't make sense. And that's okay. Don't worry about that. That just makes you the same as me and every other professional cartoonists I've ever known, and I know lots of them. So don't worry if your cartoons make sense, just try to make it clearer. It might involve having to redraw it, that's okay, you can do that. But remember that last mistake the cartoons make, which was that sometimes the cartoon doesn't make sense. So that's it, the 3 biggest and most common mistakes that cartoonists make, especially when they're starting out. I encourage you to have a go at cartooning because it's fun. That's the main reason. It's fun. And why should I have all the fun? When you can have the fun too. You can go back to my earlier videos and you can see some tips on how to draw cartoons. And you'll realize that once you know the tricks, we can all do this stuff. It is that achievable and it's fun. So thank you for watching. If there was something in this video which was helpful, it would be terrific if you click the like button and subscribe to my channel. That'd be terrific. And if you do that, thank you very much in advance. And thank you for watching.